All right, we're back. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Here live with my friend and yours, Justin, here talking about sports. Today we will discuss the round two of the CFP, the events that took place over here in the NFL in the last week of the league of the regular season, that is, and we will talk about all the coaches that have so far been fired from last night to this morning. Justin, how are you doing this weekend, bro? What are you? How did you enjoy your from what holiday and weekend of football this week?
Always good, man. Always good football late in the season.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, bro, without waiting, let's go ahead and start where you didn't want to start. And we'll talk about the second round of the college football playoff. And we'll get to the beginning. Who played first? It was Miami, right?
Yeah, Miami and an impressive game.
Yes, sir. Miami takes down the defending champion. So there will be a new champion in the CFP. No back to backs. I think Georgia was the last back to back champion that we had in the CFP. But yeah, Miami takes down Ohio. Ole Miss in a probably the best game of the second round takes down Georgia. Indiana, the Hoosiers, my pick, showed that the rust wasn't going to affect them. It was not rust, it was rest. They take down the Alabama Crimson Tide, and the Oregon Ducks shut out the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Justin, what were your takeaways from the second round of the CFP?
The Indiana will be the best team in college football by a long mile. Um, I think we're headed for a Miami, Indiana national championship.
Really?
I think that's gonna be a real good game. Miami, man, Miami can out physical people, man. That was
Miami
an,
showed they got some dog, bro. If anybody proved that they belonged, it was Miami for sure.
I mean that performance was unbelievable. Yes, it makes you question Ohio State, but I think Ohio State's still a good team. But I think Miami just you heard about it going into that game that they out physical people. That defense looked absolutely for real. They coming, and think about coming off the performance of holding A&M to what 3 points.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
a short game, but like I said in the last time, a very windy game, but still like lacking on offense altogether.
yeah, and to go and do Ohio State the way that they just out physical. So I think that's a good team. I don't think Ole Miss. That was a surprise for me to see Ole Miss beat Georgia. Uh, I thought Georgia had a chance to take it all, but kudos to Ole Miss and them boys playing with some passion.
I mean,
Yeah.
they played Georgia pretty tight the first time they played them in the regular season, bro. I mean, that cause like based on the situation with what happened at the end of the season, the controversy of Lane Kiffin leaving, and the question of is anybody still going to be? To me, Ole Miss showed just like Miami. Not only do they have a chip on their shoulder, but they're playing together as a unit, and they're backing each other up to play and win for themselves.
Yeah, they are. I thought the game that I don't want to talk about Tech. Just we all seen it. The quarterback was Morton was terrible, and we talked about it all year about Tech's offense. I thought the defense did all they could. I mean, I thought the defense did all they could, but your offense was just not ready for that moment. The
No,
moment looked too big for Morton. Uh, and kudos to Oregon, but I don't know if they. I don't think they really stand a chance against Indiana. Man, Indiana looks so good.
yeah, the Hoosiers probably looked the most dominant. Like I understand, like Texas Tech got eggshelled, but they made Alabama look a lot worse because they came out hot and they came out. You want to talk about getting out physical? They bullied Alabama. They pushed Alabama around a lot, and like this is why I favored them to win. Whenever the brackets were set, you can go back and check the tape. The Indiana Hoosiers are not only well coached, they are a well-rounded football team on all three sides of their team. Special teams, offense, defense. They are
I
a
mean,
rowdy bunch. Coach Signetti deserves more credit because this is only his second year in Indiana. He went from one and done last year to he's in the semifinal this year. So a lot of credit goes to Coach Signetti over in Indiana.
you got to think about it. They got a chance to do to sweep everything, undefeated season, Big Ten
Yeah,
championship, coach of the year, Heisman, and a Natty.
bro. Yeah, they have the chance to, like you said, get just clean sweep of all the awards and all the stats, and the main thing that they want is the national championship. And if they do that, even if they don't win the national championship, bro, Indiana's going to be a problem for the next 5 years, especially because they've locked up Signetti. Their recruiting class is one of the best in the country. They've got money behind them now. You know, it's like we were talking about just a second ago about Texas Tech. You've got a foundation to build something there, and you're able to attract people to go there now. So you got your windows now, and there's not a better time to cash in on all these things than putting your chips to the center and let's make a run to it before everybody else catches up.
Yeah, Tech. They've done some good things already in the first few days of the portal. So,
Yeah,
but if you're in the Big 12, man, I mean, Tech just fell in line with everybody else. The Big 12 just looks incompetent when it comes to playing bigger schools. Now, I thought the defense, like I said, I thought the defense still looked for real. They gave you every chance to win that game. Offense continually put them in bad spots, and they held up. So the defense was good enough. The offense wasn't even close.
yeah. Old Morton just looked like a deer in the headlights out there, bro. There's nothing really else to say about him. He just, the moment was too much for him. He just looked scared, bro. He didn't look like he knew what he was doing out there. He looked like, like he had never taken a college snap in his life in a D1 program.
I'm real surprised they didn't sit him at any point.
I was calling for it. I understand that like you said, this guy behind him is less experienced than that, but you never know who can give you a spark in the middle of a game, bro. Especially when somebody like him, like he's not generating any offense, he's not getting the ball down the field, and he's turned it over twice. Get him out of the game. Get
And to
him,
be fair, I mean, I think it was
yeah,
mainly on his shoulders, but I don't think your offensive line played well. I don't think your receivers played well. I thought Cameron Dickey was. I don't know what he was doing, man. Every time he touched the ball, he was trying to spin. I just
yeah,
don't
that
know.
was weird. He was just kind of spamming the spin move throughout the whole game.
And I thought your play calling, which I've said it all year, I think your play calling was horrific, man. They hardly ever tried to go deep. They just everything was like it was very predictable. It was run, and then throw to the line and hope for a good screenplay. I mean, it was just over. And I don't know if that's because they didn't trust Morton or what was going on, but it's been like that all season.
I mean, bro, after that first quarter, how could you trust him? Like we got multiple 3 and outs, and he's turned the ball over twice. How could you trust that man to do anything?
Yeah, it was just a bad performance. But yeah, I think Miami's going to out physical Ole Miss, and I think Indiana's just much better than Oregon.
I mean, to me, the Ole Miss Miami game is probably the more scrappy and more competitive game left out there. Because I agree with you. I don't think Oregon has much for Indiana, especially if Indiana's going to be playing the way they did against Bama. And now there's no break. You're going to go into the next game, the next game, the next game, bro. So after this, they play on the national championship on the 19th, I think.
Yeah, and I know
You got
Indiana. You're right about Indiana. Get rid of the excuse, and I think Tech was going to lose that game either way, and others. But I
really.
still think there's got to be. I still think there's got to be a. We still got to fix the
Oh
month
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
You have to. There's no need for 29 days from your conference championship to your next game, and then 2 weeks in between the first and the second round. There's no need for that. I think it's like I think it was the Texas Tech head coach said instead of week 0, make that week 1, and then the season ends on New Year's. You'll still get everybody a bowl game. You'll still get the New Year's Six, but the New Year's Six becomes the semifinal and the final.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should be playing the Natty on New Year's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, the Natty should be New Year's Day. It should be New Year's Day every year because then that opens the time for the portal. Because think about it, bro. It was
Well, because now what you're kind of competing with the NFL playoffs.
no, but not only that, bro. The portal opened on Friday, and then look, bro. People from Miami have left. People from Oregon have left. I mean, look how many people transferred over to Texas Tech, bro. Like that to me, that's not a fair thing to like. Who in the playoff out of those 4 teams? Who in the playoff is gonna have the time to try to recruit people through the portal? Not only that, try to keep guys. You're
Teams in the
focused on
playoffs are like going to be behind.
yeah, you're behind the A ball already, bro. Like yeah, Texas Tech. Texas Tech got that guy from Cincinnati, bro. But if they didn't have anybody, if they didn't have the time, if they're still playing, would they have missed out next year? That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm just thank God for Cody Campbell, man. That dude is spending money.
Yeah, yeah. Bust out, bust out the checkbook everywhere in college football because I mean, not to be rude, that's kind of what it's all about at this point. Who's got the money and who don't?
I mean, just people got to get over the fact that cause that's just it is what it is, man. That's just what it is now. I mean, it's the same thing in other sports. I mean, baseball and NFL, and I mean, money is a factor of what you do. So you got to have the boosters, man, or you're going to fall behind.
Bro, that's what it was about beforehand. Let's not like play around here. We all knew what was going on behind the scenes. It wasn't legal or, it wasn't part of the rules, but we all knew what was going on here in college football. It was no secret. It's just now you made it level for everybody and the game changed. And as much as we complained, about the JMUs and the Tulanes and Oklahoma and Bama getting in, this is probably the best scenario for the college football playoff in terms of what the NIL did to it. Because look at how interesting these matchups is. Look at how level the playing field got just out of this year's playoff. Like yes, there were some poor decisions, but a lot of these games have been super competitive. There hasn't been like a ton of blowouts this year.
Yeah, Bama just it looked like Bama didn't even belong, man. We kind of figured so after that Georgia
Saban's Bama,
performance,
boy. It's not Saban's Bama.
after that Oregon performance, and I mean after the Georgia performance, and then you were down early to Oklahoma.
Yeah, you were down early to Oklahoma. You had to come back. Well, they were down what like 17 early first half, but then Oklahoma does Oklahoma things and they let that game slip up.
Yeah, now we're hearing that Ty Simpson might be going to the portal.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, bro. Why would you stay?
I think that I think the Bama job is becoming less desirable because apparently they don't have the boosters that you would think that they do.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think it's just a matter of you never want to be that first guy. I mean, because look at the NFL too; it's the same thing. Like, Vrabel didn't replace Bill Belichick right away. They had Gerard Mayo, and Gerard Mayo only got a one and done year, and they never really had any faith in him. Same thing goes for Kalen DeBoer here at Bama, bro. Did you like who? Honest to God, like I understand Bama is Bama, and it was a good job, and they got all these things and history behind it, bro. But like, who, Justin? Would you want to be the person that replaces Bear Bryant or Nick Saban? Like right after that, you want to be the guy to follow that guy? I don't
Not
think
a
so.
shot. Not a shot.
Not a shot at all. But like, like I said, bro, it's a matter of the playing field's leveled out, bro, and that's exactly why. Speaking of Nick Saban, that's why he left. He knew what was coming. He knew
Well,
he
it's
can't.
good in college
He knew he
football.
can't negotiate with these people no more. He don't have the money that Texas has, or Texas A&M, or Texas Tech, or Ohio, or USC. They don't got that money. That money's not there in Alabama. Now,
And
sure,
it's good for college football.
yeah, it's good. It's good for the college sports as a whole because now you can attract these kids to go. Bro, look how many sports probably gonna get saved by this, bro. Women's sports. I mean, look, just this past summer, look how invested we were in women's softball. Like,
We were watching it over the finals.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, this was everywhere. It does a lot. It does a lot. There is obviously the ugly sides of it because some of these kids are getting screwed over. They're signing their rights. They're giving up money from whatever pro level they can have. But at the same time, bro, it's it makes things more interesting for the sport for the college sport level of it. You learn. Everybody's an adult. They eventually they'll figure it out, man. But all in all, I think the NIL is if it's I think it's gonna get figured out eventually. They still need to put a committee in charge of college football as a whole. Mainly speaking on college football, they need to put somebody in place to not only dictate what NIL rules are gonna be, but to dictate the fact that the things that teams like Texas A&M did this year that cannot fly. You need to have a tougher strength of the strength of your schedule and who you beat has to matter in terms of making the college football playoffs. It
Well,
absolutely has to. You cannot.
well, they need to take over scheduling, man, and quit letting teams make their
Yeah,
own schedule.
yeah, they have to, bro. Because look how far, like, bro, like teams have their schedule made for like the next 3 years, and they're cupcake. A lot of these guys are cupcake. And the teams that are playing good teams, and then whether they win or lose, they're not getting any credit. You're getting more credit for just having a nice. You're getting more credit for having a nice record other than having your record of teams that you credibly beat. And I'm not just saying that out of a stance of being a Texas Longhorns fan, but there's teams out there that beat teams that should have made it.
Well, I think Tech needs to schedule a bit better non-conference schedule
Yeah,
because you need to see those
you
type of
have to be able
teams.
to. You have to be tested. You have to be tested, bro. If your toughest test comes in conference, that's not a real good schedule. It's not. And
Well,
then
I think A and
it's
M
not
was a
to rag
perfect
on y'all, bro.
example.
It's not to rag on y'all, bro. But like, think like your toughest game was BYU. Most credible opponent was BYU, bro. And it wasn't even the game that you lost. And you smoked them by 20 points, but it did. But when it came push to shove in the CFP, it didn't prove nothing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
and look at A and M. I mean, it was
they ran into Bama, and bro, they won 11 games and lost their last two to the real opponents they played.
yeah,
Who's gonna
it's got to be taken control of. You got to quit letting teams schedule Pine Bluff and you know just the teams that don't even really.
bro? We can't be playing Pine Bluff and Coastal Carolina and UNC, bro. You're like, bro, you need
I
you
get
need
it if you do it once. I think you should get one of those.
if that's your first game, yeah. If that's your first game, sure. Week 1, week 0, you're playing somebody easy just to get the fans in the building. Why not? But bro, if it's weeks 9 through 12 and you've got an easy ass schedule, no. You need to play somebody tough. I need more. I need more college teams playing that damn Texas Longhorn schedule, the Miami schedule. Looking at shit, even Clemson, even though they lost most of those games, Clemson had a tough schedule.
Maybe you do it kind of like the NFL, where like first place gets first place schedule.
Yeah, but bro, you have to like that's what I'm saying. They need to put someone in charge of all of them. That's gonna be tough. And it's not even like in my sense, it would have to be just around. We're not gonna focus around revenue share, just in terms of rules and scheduling. That's it. I'll tell you who to play, and I tell you when you're gonna play them. Outside of that, you can deal with the revenue share, NIL,
And then if they do
whatever.
that, it takes pressure off of the committee to have to think about, oh well,
Yeah, because we made the
uh,
schedule.
yeah, we made the schedule, so we can't hinder a team for having
A
an
soft
easier
schedule.
schedule or a hard schedule.
But yeah. I mean, like I said, it's gonna take a higher group of people to figure it out. At the end of the day, there's gonna be a lot of money, a lot of he said, she said, a lot of there's tradition and things like that. And then not only that, bro, you got to get a lot of these independents in the conference, bro. Like look at Notre Dame. They took their ball and went home, and then just didn't care.
But yeah, they got to get the conference, man. I
They're in
mean,
the conference in everything else but football because they have a deal with NBC. So
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it, man. They could have easily been in the ACC and won the ACC championship, and then they would have had a spot, and it wouldn't have mattered. But that's neither here nor there. We covered it. Looking at the week 2 of the CFP, the semifinals starts this Thursday. I believe the first game is the Ole Miss game. Looking forward to all that. Looking forward to see who makes it. Like I said, I'm still riding with Indiana, my original pick. Like I said, the way they're coached, the way they're built, the way they run their program up there in year 2 of the Signetti era.
Yeah, I'm
Hard.
right with you. I think they're the best team far and away, and I would put my money on it being Miami versus Indiana.
Yeah, yeah. Hard to not pick. But now looking at a different college, not college, a playoff program now. The NFL has had its final week of the season, Justin, and the playoffs are set. There were going into this week, there were only 2 spots left, and that was between the winners of the AFC North and the winners of the NFC South, which, it came down. The Bucks beat the Panthers, but they left their fate in the hands of the Falcons, and the Falcons took it over and decided you're going to sit at home on the couch with us, and Carolina's going to host the playoff game. And in the most dramatic game, probably in the whole season, the Ravens heartbreakingly lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a shanked field goal at the end of the game, which, like, by the way, Isaiah Likely had one of the best catches I had seen all year to get them all the way down the field in the first place. but they left it in the hands of their rookie kicker from 44 yards to not only win the game, to save their season in a spot where like any veteran might be shaking to be in, bro. But to put a rookie in that situation, I mean, he didn't clutch it up, shanked it wide right, and now we have where we are. The first game taking place, I believe, is L.A. and Carolina, and the Pittsburgh Steelers host the Houston Texans on Monday to wrap up the wild card round. The Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks, who dominated the San Francisco 49ers, host the host the bye weeks. They will have home field throughout as long as they can keep winning. Justin, what are your thoughts on the NFL playoffs and the wild card round as we sit here today with the NFL?
Oh, it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be really good. I think it's gonna be hard to go to Denver or Seattle to win,
Agree.
but the way that this NFL year has been, man, I can see it happening. Uh, I think there's some big favorites in the first round. I expect, you know, I expect the Patriots to be able to take care of the Chargers for sure. Uh, I think Houston should be able to take care of Pittsburgh. I just think that defense is too much for them. That Green Bay Chicago game will be interesting because I believe they split, and that's a division game too.
Oh, yeah, they split the division games this year, and so did the Patriots and the Bills.
One of the best games might be the Bills Jags. That's a game that I'm going to have my eyes on. I think the Rams are going to beat the Panthers up pretty good. I know the Panthers just beat them not too long ago, but I think the Rams are better. Um, but yeah, man, it's going to be hard to go into Denver and Seattle. That Seattle San Fran game. I mean, the score was way closer than what the game even was.
Oh yeah, bro. I mean, just Seattle bullied San Francisco. They made it. They made it known that this were they were not to be denied. There's no chance you're getting in there on our time. And to me, I agreed with you. I it's like I was saying offline. I didn't like the buildup that they had to that game. Essentially, they were saying that their season was over if they didn't get home field, if they didn't get this bye week, because like a lot of teams, they're limping into the playoffs, but they're one of the more teams that are limping more than anybody in the league right now. So to me, it's like if you're San Francisco going into Philly, it's going to be tough. You got to go all the way to the East Coast. Similar, not as good as Seattle's defense, but they have a good enough defense to make problems and give you hell to where I mean, I don't see them being very competitive against Philly. I like the Rams against the Panthers, even though the Panthers beat the Rams. But rematches are hard at any sport. Rematches are hard to try to beat somebody twice.
Yeah, and I don't imagine Stafford's going to have that many turnovers again.
I would think not. I would think not.
The only
And
thing about that San Fran game too is that it's like the only chance the chance that they have is that the Eagles' offense have just been so bad.
yeah, yeah, they're very, very inconsistent over there in Philly. But like I said, they're to me, I feel like they're gonna lose. Not gonna lose. I feel like the Eagles are gonna win a very boring game because they. I mean, what we've seen them win games where they've only generated 10 yards of offense and win.
They've won 2 games this season where
That's what I'm saying. It's
they
not gonna
haven't
take
completed
long.
a pass in the second half.
If you don't have the offense to go up against them, like San Francisco don't, because like I said, the defense is good at almost as good. Now, don't get me wrong, Seattle is on the next tier compared to where Philly is in defense, but Philly's defense is good enough to hey,
Their
we'll just
defense is pretty good. Their front seven is pretty good.
fantastic, fantastic. But I like I mean, really, really, if you're Philly, all you gotta do, hey, we'll hold down CMC and we'll hope for the best. Just put up some form of points. Get us in field goal range. You can kick. They can have a game where they kick field goals all day, and if they put up enough points early, I see Philly winning that game.
Yeah,
No,
you stop CMC, then I mean, that's the key.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
They have the front seven to do that.
absolutely, bro. I mean, yeah, especially because it's a matter of who they don't have at this point, bro. They're lacking a lot of weapons. They got people hurt. They got people holding out. They got receivers driving 100-mile an hour past the stadium. I like you were talking about. I like our matchup against the Steelers. I just get this. I got this weird feeling in my stomach, and I don't know why. Maybe I'll shake it by the time we get closer. But I absolutely hate the fact that we have to wait till Monday to play our game. I
That does suck.
hate it. Especially throughout the history of the Texans. We've always played on Saturday, and like I said, these are two firsts for the Houston Texans this year. It's the first time they've made the playoffs without winning the division, and this is also going to be the first time they don't play on Saturday. They'll play on Monday. Now, I think that the thing is that are giving me uneasy feelings is Aaron Rodgers is 4-1 against the Houston Texans all time. The Pittsburgh Steelers have won 20 straight on Monday Night Football. So I'm like,
Man,
okay,
a certain period.
Aaron, Aaron Rodgers is gonna do everything in his power. Now, granted, they didn't look good, and they should have lost that game. They absolutely should have lost that game. What whatever priest they had, they need to have him out there for every game, and they might fucking win the Super Bowl because him blessing that end zone where the kick missed. I don't know. Did you see that?
Yeah, I
They
did. Yeah.
priest go out there and bless the end zone where that kick got shanked to win them the game. So who's to say what could happen, bro? Believe in what you want to believe in. I believe in it too. But man, if we can do that, why hasn't everybody done it? But yeah, like you said, I have full faith in my defense, though. That's the one thing where I know they're not going to let me down. I need the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, and Nick Haley to
That's
have a
one.
very consistent to average, a very consistent offense throughout the rest of this way, or you're going to lose.
Well, the thing,
I'm
the reason
not
why,
even saying perfect. I'm saying consistent. You get me down the field in scoring range because you know, Kaimi Fairbairn doesn't have the biggest leg, but if you got him within 50 yards, that's 3 points every time. Consistently get me down the field. Learn how to get the run game going because if you can't run the ball against the Steelers, they know you have no choice but to pass it.
well, the reason why I like the Texans is defense wins in the playoffs, man,
Yes.
and that's one of, if not the best defense in football.
I mean, absolutely, bro. If you told me, Denver, Seattle, Houston, if you told me any of those are the best defenses in football, I wouldn't argue against you. Obviously, I'm going to root for the home team, say the Houston Texans have the best defense. Because to me, they do. But
Yeah, I think they're better than Seattle's defense actually.
to me, it's just, the fact on all three levels of their defense, that you got all pros on every level of it. You got all pros. Probably got an all pro corner, probably got an all pro edge rusher on either side, and you could debate a linebacker, but linebacker's probably your weakest. Linebacker's probably your weakest position, but it's still a pretty good linebacker core that you have. But Toto and Aziz Al-Shaair. Aziz Al-Shaair cracks people, bro.
Well, and they probably have the best defensive minded coach behind them too. So
Absolutely. And the fact that not only that defensive minded built that defense the way it is, the fact that he was able to put Matt Burke in charge of it and run the defense as the coordinator all year shows you how good that defense is. Because Matt Burke is no slouch, but he's showed he can call that defense because that defense is that damn good, bro. That damn good.
they're damn good.
I like our chances. I mean, if we're looking early picks, I like Houston. I like Jacksonville. As much as the Bills fans on TikTok ain't gonna like it. I like Jacksonville, and I like the Patriots because, like I said, like I was thinking too, not Jacksonville. The Chargers are another one of those teams that are kind of limping in. Herbert has to play Superman, and I don't think he has that ability to do it yet. There's not a lot around him. His offensive line is super banged up. I like the Rams, like Philly. I like I like Chicago, man. I like Chicago in this first round against Green Bay. It's gonna be tough though. Division matchup. They split in the season. It's gonna be a tough game out there in Chicago. But I mean, looking forward to it, bro. I don't know. At this point right now, I don't even think I can circle two teams that are going to the Super Bowl, bro. It's so wide open.
It
This is
is.
so wide open and so unpredictable of what could be done this year in the playoff for sure.
I think your favorites right now would have to be, if you just went odds on favorites, you'd probably look at the two number one seeds. But they've both shown, like Jacksonville went there and beat them not too long ago. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. And Jacksonville's not even favored. They're a dog at home.
and Jacksonville's a dark horse team, man. They are good, dude.
They've been playing hot. The thing that's the other thing for the Texans and the Jaguars. Since their last meeting that was against each other, they both have not lost. And Jacksonville, their run has looked a lot more impressive than the Texans' run to finish the season because they're dominating folks. And Trevor Lawrence has figured it out.
I mean, they
Lee,
put points on Denver's defense, man, 30 plus.
as much as I was trying to say Kyle Shanahan, you got to take him out after. Liam Cohen in Jacksonville is definitely in this conversation of Coach of the Year, bro.
It has to.
Look at what he did for Baker Mayfield last year, where he brought Baker back to life, and look what he's done with Trevor Lawrence this year. Trevor Lawrence is on fire, bro. He's on fire. He's got it figured out, and he has turned into the prince that was promised when he drew us drafted.
Yeah, they're just good. They're damn good.
Oh yeah, bro.
And no one, and
they're a problem, and that's even for me being a division opponent against them. They are a problem, and I am worried about if I have to run into Jacksonville. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be super tough.
they're just tough, dude. They're just rough, man.
But speaking of coaches, let's talk about the ones that got fired. As today is Black Monday in the NFL. As you know, Justin, the Monday after the regular season ends, a lot of coaches lose their job. Here is the list of teams that have fired their head coach as of the end of the season. Obviously, there were two coaches fired in the middle of the season: Brad Dayball, Brian Callahan in Tennessee. Since Sunday, Raheem Morris in Atlanta, Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, Pete Carroll in Las Vegas, and Jonathan Gannon out in Arizona have been let go. And to your dismay, Justin, a certain defensive coordinator still has his job as of today. He will be reviewed. But what are your thoughts on the coaches that have been let go so far, bro? Are you surprised by any of them?
No, I'm a little surprised about Atlanta's. Uh, Mainly, and I'm the main surprise to me is that Eberflus still got an office in Dallas. I just don't get that. I just don't get it. That's the biggest surprise. I mean, you get up 500 and something points this year, which is most. I mean, Dallas just had any kind of defense whatsoever. We'd be talking about them in the playoff matchup, but they're not because of that defense coordinator. And even after you brought in players and players got healthy and all that good stuff, I mean, he was still just. I mean, you watched it yesterday against New York. It was just as bad as it could be.
They checked out, bro. They checked out for sure.
They don't believe in him. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta's head coach, I was kind of surprised by that. I thought they finished strong. They had QB injury with Kirk Cousins. I thought he would have a little more time to figure it out, but that's how it goes, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, bro. Because it's like they seemed checked out. They seemed ready to go home. Your quarterback probably had the best one-liner of like, oh, look, that was the perfect way for the season to end. Was oh shit, that's kind of how the whole season went for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, it was just your offense was elite and your defense was the worst in the league. So, I mean,
Yeah, bro. To have, like you said last time on the show, to have a 4,000 yard passer, 2,000 yard receivers, and 1,000 yard rusher, and not make the playoffs or win the division is wild to me, bro. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm not surprised by any of these coaches that lost their job today. I was, I called for at least one to two of them. I knew Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll wasn't there to rebuild that franchise, bro. Las Vegas probably needs the most work out of all of them because there's nothing there to build on. You got
yeah,
Ashton Genty. You don't know if you got Max Crosby. He might be traded for draft capital. You don't now. You don't got a head coach. You got you know some form of a GM in Tom Brady with an actual GM who he's got a hand in the back of like a puppet. But to me, he wasn't there. Kevin Stefanski was obviously going to get fired because he lost control of that team a long time ago. A long time ago, bro. And this was the worst for him. It's kind of like they said. I would slightly agree with some people by saying the Deshaun Watson situation didn't make it any better for him. But beyond that, bro, like this is and he got. I mean, he got Coach of the Year twice, and yet this is the results you garner when they still have some form of team in Cleveland. They're not the worst team in the league. They're not. But the fact that, bro, you lost control, you got people doubting what you're doing, and then you're outright, especially with the quarterback situation this year, you're outright like talking like you never had control in the first place. Like I wanted this guy, I didn't want this guy. We have all these other things. You're pretty foolish, bro. Which one of these jobs do you think is the best option? If bro, say if you were an agent to a head coach out there looking for a job and they're taking interviews, which one would you recommend to them to go take?
Maybe I would like the Atlanta job. Um, I think would be pretty interesting. The New York job to me is pretty good. I think Vegas would probably be the least desirable. Um, but I think Atlanta and New York. New York's got a lot of. They got a good defense, good defensive pieces, I should say, an exciting quarterback, a running back. Um, so that's to me would probably be my number one, followed by Atlanta. Another surprise. I'm kind of surprised. I guess Miami's keeping their guy,
Yeah, they said in the middle of the season that the head coach was safe. He's
and
safe for
that's
now.
still crazy to me.
Also, right after the game, the Indianapolis Colts said that their GM and head coach Shane Steichen, and I'm blanking on the GM's name right now, but they said that they're both also safe. They're not going to get rid of them. They're going to continue to go with them, which I think is fair because it's not like they had something this year and they kind of just everybody something seems to always happen to the Colts. To me, with the Colts especially, you got to make let's talk to Daniel Jones. Let's see if we can get him another 1 year. See if he can help us out, take some decent money because it's being he you can't help what happened to him. Granted, it was a lot of their doing that did it. Because, bro, if he was out there on a broken foot for God knows how long, you should have addressed it a long time ago.
If I'm the Colts, man, I'm kicking tires on Joey B. Man, I think now that's not saying Cincinnati's going to let him go nowhere, but
You don't have any. They don't have any draft capital, bro. That's why I was saying you got to bring Daniel Jones back.
yeah, that's true.
You got to bring Daniel Jones back. You got to let Riley Leonard hold it down until Jones comes back. Because I think one thing for sure they're done with Anthony Richardson because the fact that he was able to come back for mid like the last 2 weeks and they were like, now we'll try Philip Rivers or Leonard. He's done that, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut in the offseason. But yeah, they don't have memory because they gave their picks up for Sauce. That's their first rounders. A lot of the draft capital went to the Jets. Now, I said this yesterday, and I don't know for sure now because there's a lot of things that can move. The top 10 picks went out there. The Las Vegas Raiders have the number one pick. I think if I was Joe Burrow, I would request a trade, especially if the coach who also got told was safe, the general manager and coach in Cincinnati, they're safe. I would want out of there because they don't have any money. They don't have the right headspace. They don't have the right people in charge to draft you an offensive line that'll save you because that's what you need. You need that, and you need defense. But look at bro, like they in the past couple years they've let three of their last they left the last three good defensive players they had walk because they don't want to pay them. They like to haggle people. They're one of the worst teams at it too. And who knows, bro? Maybe he'll have to pull a Carson Palmer situation. Because remember with Carson, bro, they didn't want to trade him. He said, "Look, you're either going to trade me or I'm going to retire." And if he's not having fun, like he said, I wouldn't doubt it if he does the same thing. Because why would you want to stay? If there's nothing, it's kind of like how I asked you about with Dak the other day, bro. If there's no sign that we're gonna compete, why would I want to stay here?
I mean that's fair. I mean, yeah, if I'm Joey, I'm getting out of there, man. I mean, I get you have Chase and that was your roommate or your college teammate or whatever, but it's just not going to get you better. I mean, you've been excellent and you can't stay healthy there. They refuse to get you a line. Your career. You're already saying you don't love the game because of how bad it is. So
Yeah. I mean, but it's, like I said, they don't have the offensive line that's gonna keep you upright either.
yeah, he's got to get out of there.
And
There's teams.
it's the same thing on the other side. Like, yeah, we can put up 40, but the defense is gonna give up 45. We're gonna lose that game.
Yeah, and I'm telling you from experience how frustrating that must be. And it's been like this is the first year it was like that for Dallas. I can imagine year after year.
Yeah, year after year, bro. They're just constantly, you build up a lead to give it away right away. There's no hope. But the draft order goes Vegas, then the Jets, Cardinals, Tennessee Titans, the New York Giants, Cleveland Browns, Washington Commanders, Saints, the Chiefs, for the first time in a while, have a top 10 pick. Number 10 is Cincinnati. If there's anybody, because like I said, I like Mendoza. He's got the intangibles, but he needs to go somewhere. I think that's a fair. I still think that might actually be a fair trade if you do send Joe to Vegas, because not only that, it would work out hand in hand. You could get Mendoza. You still got Chase. Still got Higgins. You don't got to pay a quarterback. That takes that off your books. You can build up a. You can attempt to do what you couldn't do for Joe. Try to build up an O line or a defense and see if you can try to get back a competitive stance. And if you're Las Vegas, you get Joe Burrow. Who doesn't want to go play with Joe Burrow?
Who doesn't, man?
I mean, what do you think about that? But you think that would be fair, or an option? Would you send? Would you? Would you? What would you think of a grade like that between the Raiders and the Bengals, the number one pick for Joe Burrow?
I mean, if you're the Raiders, I mean, if you're the Bengals, it makes sense because he wants out anyway. So at least get something good out of him.
Like, yeah, like I said, it would go hand in hand for both of them. Yeah, I see the benefit for both. Now, granted, Joe would still kind of be in the same situation, but you could attract more to Vegas than you could Cincinnati. That's for sure. I can get
Yeah,
more
because
people to
everyone's going to
stay
want
in
to go
Vegas.
play for him.
Yeah. Well, not only that, bro. Like, it's a destination. Who wouldn't want to go be in Vegas? Like, granted, the taxes suck, but like, bro, it's still Vegas. Still one of the top places to go. The sports business in Las Vegas is booming right now. There's opportunities all over that city.
Yeah, they're getting baseball team there. And, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yep, yep. And I don't know, bro. It's like I said, it's going to be a lot, and it's also going to matter who they put in charge over there. Who would you hire as a head coach? I think me and you have the same agreements. I think thinking that Mike McCarthy might be one of the more sought after guys going out there. Maybe Stefanski or Dayball right behind him. But
Yeah, I mean, I think
yeah, I like Mike, and I agree with you, bro. If I was to advise anybody to take any of those jobs, I'd go take Atlanta because Atlanta has a good team right now. They need the right coach. And if anything's been shown to us in the past few years, the right coach can be found and things can turn around for you. Now, how consistently can they turn around? Let who's to say what's what? Because you can have a situation like the Houston Texans where you get a D'Amico Ryans and you make the playoffs the next 3 years, or you can get a Dan Quinn like in Washington where you really great the first year, but then it goes all to shit the next year. Like I said, Mike Vrabel's doing well. Liam Cohen's doing pretty well. McDonald out in Seattle. I think this is his second year, right? Second or third year over there in Seattle. They got themselves a quarterback. If you can get that coach quarterback marriage to go hand in hand and the team follows behind you, bro, the sky is the limit. And I think that Atlanta job is probably one of the best ones out there because you still got Kirk Cousins, who knows what he's doing. Let's see, he's probably going to want to keep playing. He's a competitive guy. And you can still, worst comes to worst, you got a young guy behind him, or you can find a new quarterback. You got options.
yeah,
You cut out a bit, bro.
I say, yeah, Atlanta's got Atlanta, New York has got to be number one and two as a coach.
I don't know about New York, bro. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be under that general manager and owner out of all of those jobs. At New York, the Giants, I wouldn't. I understand what's there, but how much of that is my team compared to just doing what you're telling me to do, or how much control I have, or what am I Am I going to be able to have more of the say in the staffing? Who's going to be my coordinators? Who are we going to pick in the draft? I
I
mean,
mean,
like I said, bro, I got 2 seasons of Hard Knocks that shows me that they're going to make mistakes, a lot of them.
it's about good. Yeah, I mean that's true. So yeah, I mean Atlanta, but it's still better than the Vegas job. I think it depends. Like you said, it depends on who they get in there, what control they're going to have.
Atlanta has more right now out of anything. Atlanta has the most right now because I see the potential in New York. Don't get me wrong. If you get Dart and Scatterboo and Neighbors back, and you keep building on that defensive core that they have, kind of move some pieces around, bring some guys in, they could be a really good competitive team in the NFC East. Because now, I mean, you got a back-to-back NFC East champion by default. Philly kind of fell backwards into it because their only competition was Dallas, and that defense just really let Dallas down. But if you can build it, and everybody loves a good New York team. The New York teams are one of the teams you want to be on. There's a lot of media there, a lot of opportunity. Like like we were just saying, you'd want to go play in New York, you'd want to go play in Dallas, you'd want to go play in LA, you want to go play in Vegas. There's money, there's attention, everything's there, and you can attract people to go there. Now, whoever's in charge, that's the different part because you never know what could happen over there, bro. But yeah, I just to me, I don't like that. I don't like the New York job because of the general manager and owner. I don't like it, but I
I
see
mean,
the
that makes sense. 'Cause, yeah, like you said, if Hard Knocks showed anything, it was
poor decision making.
the ineptitude of New York. Same time, like you said, there's a bunch of talent there. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, bro. There's a very nice young core in New York. Very nice. But it's just like you said, the ineptitude of the front office. Can't trust them.
No, you really can't. It's,
Nope.
it's gonna be an interesting offseason, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting offseason. But until we get there, we got the playoffs coming up. Wild card weekend starts on Saturday, goes to Monday. The semifinals of the CFP starts on Thursday. This week will be a double week. We'll probably have a late night sports talk on Friday or Saturday to kind of recap the semifinal, maybe the first couple games of the wild card weekend, super wild card weekend as they like to call it. But all in all, man, I think we covered a lot here. We covered a lot of our bases, covered a lot of the main topics. Like I said, a lot of them games in Week 18 really didn't matter. We kind of had our eyes on, if not your own game, who was going to win those last two spots from the South and the North on the AFC and the NFC side. Anything else you want to talk about, bro? Some things to throw out there. Things you saw this weekend. Anything
Uh,
eye-catching, or are you still just mad that Eberflus still has a job?
that's the main thing, man. Get that man out of my building. That's the main key. I think right now my two main keys is fire Eberflus, resign Pickens, man.
Yeah, the second one more important for sure. You got to keep GP in that building.
I don't know if it's more important, but it's important.
Hey, man.
Because think about it, you say it's more important, but you had them this year and the number one offense, and you have a losing record. So
But you still got to add talent to that defense, bro. You still got to add talent. I can fire Eberflus, but if you don't sign anybody, then what's the point?
I mean that's very true. Yeah, Dallas needs about seven dudes to become start. Like you need seven starters there, man.
You need a better secondary for sure. A better secondary and a couple pass rushers.
You might have to make a move to move up for Caleb Downs, to be honest, because I
Maybe
think because you're picking 12, and I think he's going to be off the board by then.
it could be, bro. But there's other options, bro. There's a lot of other options out there. You can find you a good one. You really can. There's a lot of diamonds out there in this draft in terms of defense.
Yeah, but I think your safety is like your quarterback, and I think that Caleb Downs is a really smart player.
Yeah. No,
That's
I agree. I agree. But it's like, you've got capital to play with, bro. You can. Who knows? Dallas can go sign a veteran right now. Who knows what they're doing, and that could change everything. Y'all
yeah,
got,
Dallas has a lot to do.
y'all got a couple firsts to still play with. You've got some things you can move. Who's to say what's gonna happen, man? But on that note, that is the show. I want to thank you all for joining us. like I said, we will have a late night sports talk. Justin, do you want to give out your Twitch, see if they can follow you out on your Warzone stream?
We'll do that another day, man.
All right, we'll do that another day. Keep an eye out. If you are following me on Twitch, though, it's Matt Garces4 on twitch.tv. Matt4. Same logo as here on youtube.com. youtube.com/talking about with Matt Garces. I am your host, Matt Garces. This is Justin. Thank you for joining us again, guys. We'll see you this weekend.